here.
And
we're still
Angela.
on music. Music's still going. We're still dancing. Yeah, I think we're working. Are we working? Can you hear me?
I can't hear anything, but I don't know if you can hear me.
I can hear you.
Okay, great.
There's other headphones.
Here, let
if
me
you wanna
switch
try a
these out
different
real quick.
headphone.
That's what I was saying. There was one of the mics that was.
Sorry, folks. We're having a little technical issue this morning, but that's okay. It's, you know what?
Woo!
Whoa, Nelly. Mercury is in retrograde, people. Mercury's in retrograde.
Definitely.
She's showing up, man. She's showing up.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. I still can't hear you.
No.
Can you guys hear her?
All right.
There she
Here
is.
we are. Hi.
Phobos, hi.
What's
How are
up?
you?
How are you?
Yay. We need to hear your beautiful voice,
Oh,
Angela.
it's so beautiful.
And you need
we
to
were
hear
just
us.
we were just talking that I don't mind listening to my voice like this when
Yeah.
I talk normally, but if I watch the show back, I'll be like, oh my God, I'm the most annoying person in the world.
I honestly feel like everybody does that with themselves. Like you don't like to see why do you think so many movie stars don't watch their own movies or television actors don't watch their series? Like,
yeah, that'd be tough to watch.
Cringy when you see yourself doing things. Like it just is not fun.
No.
I wonder if that's a female thing though. I feel like
I don't know.
I feel like men like to see themselves doing things. They're like, yeah, look at myself working out. Look at my, why do you think there's so many mirrors in a gym?
That's a good question. That's a really good question.
I cannot stand to see myself working out.
Oh no. There are lots of studies though that are going around about, particularly since the pandemic, that we are not meant to see ourselves as frequently as we do by constantly looking at a Zoom or a video chat and being forced to do that all the time, because really a lot of in-person meetings have gone away.
Yeah.
And the body and the mind is not regulated to be able to handle seeing yourself that much, which is why there's been such an increase in cosmetic procedures, because people are constantly looking at themselves.
This is such a subject and topic for when we bring on one of our physician friends that do this. But I do want to put a pin on it. But I want to say, you're so right. You are so right. And I wonder, like, fast forward 100 years, I wonder how this experience that we all have right now of seeing ourselves all the time is going to change future generations, because it evolves your brain. You know, you're developing different synapses. Yeah. Like I'm talking like a neurologist.
No, but you're totally right.
Yeah. Like your experiences shape the way that future generations see things and hear things and experience things.
Yeah. So, I mean, cave woman obviously wasn't constantly like checking to see if her hair was perfect. And she didn't need Botox.
No, she didn't. And she was hot.
Yeah, she was.
She was out hunting and gathering and doing the things.
Rocking the leopard print.
That's right.
Yeah.
Getting her head hit by Bam Bam.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. We could have so much fun with this topic.
Yeah.
We will forever. At a later date. However, we do have a guest who's been so patient with us. And she's an amazing person. I feel like, we're so fortunate. We bring people in each week that we have personal experience with, which has been so wonderful. I know at some point we will start our pool will become a little bit larger and we will bring in people that we don't know personally. However, we have the good fortune with our guest today of not only working with her, but, she's a friend. She has been a mentor. She's been a consult. She's been an ear. She's been a shoulder. She's been all the things for us on a legal level.
Correct.
So, Angela.
And legality does matter in business.
It
100%. You have to make sure that you are protected. Mm-hmm. And luckily, we are protected by the best in the business. That's Krystal Weigl, welcome.
Yes,
Thank you
Krystal.
So much. Thanks for having me today.
Yay. We're so excited to have you.
Krystal owns her own firm called Weigl Law. She's also a fierce advocate for lawyers in general about their mental well-being and their time and balance in the field. And she's going to tell us all about that today. And we're just really excited to have you. Thank you for being here.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yay. Very good.
And Krystal reminded me, she is a speaker also. So, this is something we came into this and we were kind of giving her little, pep talk before. And she's like, I've done this. I'm good. I'm good. And I'm like, that's right. You're a speaker, because one of the things that we've done with you on a professional level was your speaking engagement that you did here in St. Louis. And remind me the name. It was
Hustle Less,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was such a great, and it really was about mental health and law. So
Yes. Yeah.
I guess we're going to get into that in a little bit.
That'll be fun to talk
Yeah.
about.
Well, and I think that obviously you have a lot more going on than just Hustle Less. But what I always loved about Hustle Less is the fact that it was a market disruption in the legal business, is that you never hear about that. You never hear about what lawyers actually face when they leave the office, or what they face day to day. And also just being in such a area where you don't always work with the best people. And so I'm really excited to hear about that.
Yeah. So let's get into it. Let's dig into the first of the first. Like, tell us, one, why you are doing what you do, what brought you to law, all the things. Like, take us back to the origin story of Krystal.
Lord, gather around, children. Okay.
Start the campfire, get the marshmallows ready. All right.
Yeah. Okay, fun. Yeah, absolutely. And just, I guess at the outset here, when you were giving me my pep talk, which I so appreciated, I don't think I said, "Oh, I got this."
Maybe I was feeling that. I was feeling the confidence.
I love that.
Yes.
I love that. No, it's funny, and I just mentioned that because what I was thinking and what I was getting at is I've talked about these things so many times. So this topic I know inside and out. I didn't prepare a bunch of notes or really know where we were going with this today, but it is very different sitting here hearing my own voice and sitting.
Yes.
Usually when I talk about these types of things, there's a little bit of a different setup. So it's so fun to be able to talk about these things with you two and in this environment. So thanks for the opportunity.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
So let's see, if I go back to Professor Bear's I think it was off of Grand downtown, that I was like 3-ish years old in preschool. That was when I first said,
I want to be a lawyer.
Yeah, I'm gonna be a lawyer. I'm gonna be a lawyer, right? And I was never anything else.
Yeah.
And it's funny as an adult to sit here and hear these phrases like disruptive and things like that, because back then that wasn't a good thing.
Right. You're so right about that.
Times have changed.
It is, and it's fun. All these things that maybe you that aren't appreciated when you're trying to figure out who you are and what you care about and what you do are so appreciated when you just decide to go out and do it. Right. Because the pieces that aren't really talked about, the stuff about mental health, well-being in the legal profession, which first and foremost is all about posturing and exuding confidence, and making sure that you're the smartest guy in the room all the time. And I do mean guy.
Emphasis on that. Yes, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah. That's all. That's a whole different topic by itself. But yeah, I wanted to be an attorney because those are the people who I saw as a kid being the ones who stand up and say things for people that don't speak the language or just don't have the opportunity to be heard.
So were you a kid that cheered the underdog, like rescuing puppies and that sort of thing?
I'm not the biggest animal person,
but
yeah, totally. And it's so fun now, as you both know, my daughter is a very spicy 4-year-old redhead, and
love that.
I see it in her like all the time, and it's so fun to see. Just this. Yeah, absolutely. We're going to stand up and speak up and say these things because who else is going to do it?
Right.
Like, here we are. Let's go.
Yeah. Right. That's amazing. Were your parents attorneys, or did you come about this just naturally?
I am I'm the first attorney in my family.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
It's a big deal.
Thank you. My parents were extremely hardworking and still are very, very hardworking Midwestern, down to earth people. My dad, he owns our family's HVAC company.
Okay.
AW Heating and Air Conditioning.
Nice. Love that little plug there.
And my mom, she's at Wells Fargo. She was there back when it was, A.G. Edwards, one of the only brokerage firms, if not the only brokerage firm not on Wall Street.
Right.
Extremely hardworking people, but not people that spent a lot of time in academia or went through college or law school.
Right.
So,
Right. That's so cool.
Thank you.
And now your brother and your sister are in your firm, right?
That's right.
And are they both practicing attorneys?
So my sister is a recovering high school teacher.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love that.
Love that. So she's had her own debates, I'm sure, in her profession.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely. Without a doubt. My sister did Teach for America. She was a high school biology teacher in North County at Riverview Gardens. She did that for 5 years.
Wow.
Before she came over to the firm, she got all the logistics, organization, structuring genes that totally skipped me. And my brother's a writer. He was a screenwriter.
So cool.
Yeah. He trained as a writer.
Yeah.
So
That's amazing.
he's a guy who can sit down and crank out pages of narratives relating to advocating for our clients. And
without using ChatGPT, I am guessing.
Without it, which, by the way, that is not privileged or confidential there. So
exactly. Yeah, it's rare to find those talents now in people that are coming out of college. They're not learning those skills, which is such a shame.
I had a pretty interesting conversation about this just the other day, and it's fascinating, these skills that are being automated, but then the corollary to like learning those skills, to sitting down in the messiness, is that you miss out on the entry level ways of problem solving, the entry level critical thinking, and so it's the instant gratification of it all, which is a thing my husband and I chat about fairly often. While we're going through this, early parenting stage and building the firm, while he's doing like the 9 to 5.
Yeah.
role.
So how is your husband involved in your business then?
He's
Besides being your rock.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't want to say like he's my biggest fan, but he really he is. He's my entire support system.
That's awesome.
It's he doesn't work in the firm. He just, when we say like we don't talk about this a lot in the profession, like the challenges that come along with this, and then the conflict and the constant just living in conflict all the time. Like Andy hears about it.
I'm sure.
That is such an interesting way to kind of frame that. And that is something back to like, mental, again, we talk about mental wellness a lot in this show. And, I feel like your profession really kind of embodies like early burnout, a lot of like mental wellness issues because of the, to Angela's earlier point, you see the worst of the worst. Like, and I know you practice a different kind of law than a criminal lawyer does, or so describe to us the different nuances of what you do, and then kind of maybe some of the conflict that you're dealing with on a daily basis.
Sure. One of the biggest challenges that we have is the best and worst part about being trusted with people's most personal and intimate challenges is we're secret keepers.
Yes.
We take an oath.
Yes.
And it's confidential. The information's privileged because that relationship between an attorney and a client is historically and hopefully currently so sacrosanct, and it needs to be, so that we can be truthful and honest, and clients feel comfortable and can give us the information we need to give them the right advice. Right. So that creates a category of isolation. And I think one of the things I value above all else is community. I think the collaboration, the support systems that come with that. And so at times the isolation that comes with that
responsibility.
Can just be so challenging. You're also dealing with, we're counselors at law. That's one of the phrases for the profession. And so when people have these challenges, and a lot of times, I live in the civil world, like you said, I don't do criminal work, but that stuff comes up constantly. It's part of it's at least part of many of the cases we deal with, tangentially involved. And so there's this struggle around people tell you everything that they're dealing with, all of their struggles. We always come in after the fact, where we very rarely get to be there to say like, hey, this could be a problem.
Right.
Or, that stuff is really fun.
Yeah.
It's music
Right.
to my ears when people call and they say, hey, we don't want to have an issue here.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's multiple ways in which isolation is reinforced for legal professionals.
Mm-hmm.
One of the distinctions that I make among the medical community versus the legal community, when a surgeon is trying to save someone's life, or I'm not a lifesaver, right? So I'm being metaphorical.
Yes.
Sure, absolutely.
Of course.
They're in there and they're trying to fix a problem. They're trying to solve something.
Right.
They're trying to help someone. There's not somebody like actively in the room trying to stop them from doing that.
Right.
Right.
You're so right.
Yeah.
Never thought about it that way.
Like
That's true.
We're dealing with, external conflict all day, every day.
Yeah.
We live in an adversarial legal system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anytime I'm trying to fix something for my client, there's somebody with
Ulterior motives. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's challenging. And the
Interesting.
worst of the worst, to answer your question earlier about, kind of why did I start my own thing?
Yeah.
The conflict that I can't stand and that I don't put up with is the in-house conflict.
Yeah.
The stuff that comes up among partners, the stuff that comes up among team members,
Mhm.
protecting the firm and protecting the team,
Mhm.
because it all starts internally
Mhm.
in that way. Those are the conflicts that I'm like,
Yeah. Don't
What-
need it.
we're
Right.
not doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It shouldn't be like that.
Yeah.
It shouldn't.
Right.
It doesn't need to.
No.
It doesn't
Mhm.
need to.
Well, and you started your journey on entrepreneurship by you were partnering with another attorney early on. This is when we first met you, and you
Okay.
guys were trying to simplify the process for
Yeah.
business owners, entrepreneurs, that sort of thing. So, kind of tell us a little bit about how you kind of went from that trajectory to starting your firm, and kind of where you're at now with what you want this to be and what you want it to look like.
Yeah. So
Yeah, unpack that.
Yeah.
Let's go.
briefly, right? Yeah. So early on, so this is a little bit different than kind of how I work now. Early on in my career, I had dealt with the just awful struggles from partnership disputes that I was sort of in the line of fire on as an associate, from really bad behavior from some egotistical
Yeah.
people who do really well in law and in business, but are not people you really want to be around or work with.
Right.
Mhm.
And so I thought at one point, that's just like almost 10 years ago now, I thought at one point I'd like to help people navigate the law without being on the inside of that stuff.
Mhm.
And so I worked with another attorney. He had started this. This was his project.
Uh-huh.
We found each other, and I joined on to his project to launch a technology company.
Uh-huh.
And that technology company is still around. It's
That's
called
awesome.
Legal GPS.
Yeah.
We weren't practicing law then. I took a year where I just wasn't practicing, right?
Mhm.
We were working on making law more accessible, working on helping people have tools, particularly people who were studying entrepreneurship, right,
Mhm.
at the college
Right.
and university level, navigate, what sort of problems come up,
Yeah.
so that they could address it without having to invest money that they don't have in legal advice that they don't know whether or not they need.
Mhm.
Right.
So that was the beginning of the sort of, okay, maybe I'm gonna try some different
Something
things
different.
here.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I did that for about a year. It was great. The company's still around. It's doing well.
Mhm.
Great.
And then I was like, I'm a lawyer.
You wanted to go back to practicing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. The way that we met Krystal was because we were seeking out legal help, but we, as a startup, and I think Krystal just touched on that, like you don't know what you don't know.
Mhm.
Mhm.
You don't know how much it's going to cost.
No.
You can end up in such a bad place as an entrepreneur if you hook up with the wrong team.
And we did
And
until we found Krystal.
until we
Yeah.
found Krystal. And
Mhm.
you can really end up in a very big financial mess that unintentionally, and it's just law is like a totally different animal.
Yeah.
You're billing every 15 minutes. So tell me how 6 minutes. Oh, good grief.
Every point one is 6 minutes.
So
Yes.
tell us kind of how you're disrupting that traditional model, because I think that was what drew us to you at the beginning was you've really set a different tone for entrepreneurs, and I love it.
And I just maybe if I can talk about that piece really quick.
Yeah.
That result there that you just said about like that drew you guys to me. Like there's that is so just heartwarming and validating because I love working with the two of you. I love knowing the two of you. I love having these conversations.
Thanks.
I mean, and it's the scariest part is you go like, oh shit, what if I act?
Yeah.
Oh shoot, what if I act like my
beep?
What if I act like my
Yeah.
Then what happens to my credibility, my professionalism, my reputation? What happens to the people who are working with me now? And the scariest part is the true part is that a lot of the people that work with you when you're not doing those things go away, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And so, why I started working on why I started following this path of like, what if I show up like myself, is because I was less afraid of losing the people around me that I wasn't enjoying working with. I didn't want to grow up to be like.
Yes. Yes.
Right.
And I wanted, there's nothing more important to me than the people I work with.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And I mean that from the people that we work with on my team. There's 6 of us now. The clients that we work with, the people we represent, the vendors that we work with,
Right.
the other firms that we collaborate with. And so when you find yourself in these like situations where you're going, man, this is draining all of my energy. I don't like this. I don't feel good here. I feel like I'm constantly trying to become a contortionist in these spaces to exemplify what I think they're
expecting. Yeah. Well, and it's a lot like I would think it's a lot like a physician too. You do have, and you just brought up a really interesting point that I think is worth noting. Like you aren't allowed to just show up as yourself in those professions because it does impact your credibility. It does impact the way that, the way that people view your credentials, I want to say. I don't know. But you've done such an amazing job at showing up as yourself, but also being that trusted partner in a legal sense. Like I can't say enough, like how much we needed a partner who knew law. We didn't necessarily need a high-powered attorney or a high-powered legal system. We needed somebody who cared about what we were doing, who could identify with us on some levels and just kind of help us navigate through it. And you showed up that way for us. And it was so unique and needed. I mean, because we had such a bad taste in our mouth for all the things.
Oh, thank you.
So yeah, it really was, you kind of read the room and brought it. So kudos.
You provided being an advocate for us in a way that we didn't know how.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. The way that you kind of come up in this profession is you see the machines, right? That's what's visible.
Right.
And this is true all over the place, right? Like what we see is what we kind of understand we're supposed to exemplify that. And, Lord help us after the Zoom generation and everything else that we're talking about earlier. But we see these things and it's like, oh, that's successful. If I want to be a good lawyer, then that's the way I need to look. That's the way I need to sound. That's the way I need to act. It can be really challenging when we're talking about, the work that I do. I've been in litigation my entire career. I was in litigation through law school. I came up through the ranks, even in undergrad, learning what it meant to look, sound, act like a lawyer.
Yep.
And that stuff is all, it's 1, very male dominated, and 2, it doesn't sound like me or the people that I want to represent.
Yeah.
Right.
I love that. All right. We're going to put a pin in this conversation, take a quick break, and we'll be back with Krystal after the break.
St. Louis, meet your new daily
And we're back. A few housekeeping items before we get back with our guest. Remember, this is the Lou Information Station found at louinfo.com. You can see and hear this podcast later on today on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. You can also follow Angela and I on at co-founders. Can't talk this morning, at co-founders on Instagram. And if you're listening live, there is a text line, 314-590-3770. You can ask any questions for us, for Krystal. But do not text us after the show because we're not here. We're going home. Actually not.
No, not home, but
back to the office.
Not here.
Yes, not here. We are not here. I kind of love the conversations that happen on break. Yes. Because they're almost more interesting than the conversations that we're having during the show. Mm-hmm. But why don't we tackle one of the conversations that we kind of started talking about a little bit earlier in the show. But Krystal, talk to us a little bit about the personality and culture in the legal community and kind of what you're witnessing, how you're trying to change that sort of thing.
And also how it affects gender roles as well.
Yes.
Mm. Yeah. Okay. Well,
heavy.
Where to begin?
Unpack that one. Mm-hmm. See, we're throwing all the hard stuff at you.
No, this is the fun part of the day.
Yeah, right.
So, okay, with when you had asked earlier, kind of why did you go out on your own and those things? Mm-hmm. I, for a while, was sort of jokingly saying, like, our tagline is, "This is not your father's law firm,"
mm-hmm. right?
And like now, it's not jokingly. I mean it. It's true. The idea of the sort of the old way that this has been done, the way that you run a business, the way that you run a law firm, the way that you talk to your clients, talk at your clients, talk sometimes down to clients, the way that you position and posture yourself when you're advocating, those kinds of things that's the world I was brought up in, right?
Right.
And like I said, in the courtroom, I still go to court frequently. And I think, any female litigator that you speak to would say something similar. There's always a lot more guys there. It's mm-hmm. rare that there's not. Yeah. It's rare that there's not. And in certain areas of law, that's different. Mm-hmm. And I do think it's changing. Mm-hmm. But the general, this is how we do things and this is how it's done. And the amount of times I have been told by an older male partner, you name it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I've been doing this for 30 years and what you're saying isn't right. Or when they refuse to engage in the negotiation or bring any valid argument or any substantive evidence or anything like that, because they just are so accustomed to saying, I said no.
Right.
No.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So interesting.
It's so different. Mm-hmm. It's so different. And I think it makes it makes you a less skillful advocate to rely on that. Mm-hmm. It also makes you less relatable to a good portion of the population that has certain preconceived notions about who lawyers are and what they act like and sound like and what they do. Right. Mm-hmm. It also just is kind of a crummy way for a system to work. Mm-hmm. A system that's supposed to be fair to everybody should have advocates who represent the everybody.
Right. Mm-hmm. Agreed. So interesting. So in your experience, so this kind of is why you started your firm, was because of those moments. Am I right?
It definitely contributed to it. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So how are you doing things differently that, how are you we talk about disruption all the time. And I think, sometimes that can be a blanket statement, but you truly are disrupting the way things have been traditionally. And by that, I'll let you kind of explain how you handle an entrepreneur. I know you really love working with female founders and female entrepreneurs, but you work with all sorts of people. But tell us kind of what that looks like from your standpoint and how it's different than what you might experience somewhere else.
So we have done a pretty good job of like decorporatizing mm-hmm. our firm. So we don't have this person only does these tasks and this is our org chart and this must go through here first. My team meets constantly at a minimum of once a week in the office. We all sit down and we talk about the calendar, where everything's at, who's working on what. We throw ideas around the table. Very collaboration based. And that lends support for all of the things that we're talking about. There's not a single case or a single client in my firm that doesn't have multiple people supporting the needs that they have.
Right.
There's also, it's not just one of us. If my kids are sick, if I'm sick, if I need a break,
Right.
if and anything, if any of these things pop up, I know that I have a team that, and everybody else in my team knows that too. The old sort of like pyramid model of these people are at the top and they have the luxury of having the support of everybody underneath them, but the people underneath them don't have that support.
Right.
That's awful.
Yeah.
For everyone.
Yeah. It sounds terrible.
It is. And it's just not, you grind it out or you go through the years of hazing until you get to that stage. And then you turn around and you behave that way.
Yeah.
Right.
Because, if you suffered, everybody else is supposed to.
Yeah. Well, it's the way that it's always been done. So why would you change that?
Well, it also seems like the client would benefit more from a collaborative approach anyway,
You
because
read my
more
mind.
ideas, more poking holes in things can only lead to a better outcome.
Absolutely. And we all have different skill sets. We all have different experiences. We all have different bandwidths at any given time of the day. And so if we're able to toss these ideas around, talk about, what does the schedule look like? How are we managing these things? How are we moving the priorities around in the way that benefits internal?
Yeah.
Because the internal is what allows us to serve our clients externally. Whereas I think there was like more of a culture of like martyrdom and like, like as long as you can grind through decades of nonsense, then then your client will get what they need because you first.
Right.
Like, well, I mean, I'm a whole real person and I'm the one doing the stuff, so I should be in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I have so
You're
many.
so right.
Yeah. And I have so many friends that are attorneys who have been, it's embedded in their mindset that they have to work 80 hours a week. And if they're not taking phone calls on vacations with clients and, that sort of thing, it's like, holy smokes, when do you get time to just recharge and be the best you can be for your clients? It's just such a different,
There are that is very much the culture. That's the visible culture of lawyering. Definitely the one Hollywood likes.
Yes. 100%.
The part that I think is less visible even in that space is that those are the clients that seek out those lawyers.
Yes.
Right. They seek out those
Yes.
machines and they're like,
Yeah.
I need somebody who can answer at all hours of the day.
Right.
And my needs are more important than anybody else's needs. And what we're doing is so big and so quote unquote life or death. And it's like, well, that's not, that's not it's also why a lot of mothers, especially in my experience, at least for portions of their career, they move into spaces where those clients don't exist. But the problem with that is like not every business is run that way.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just the highly visible ones.
Right.
There are a whole lot more.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Well, so when did you make the kind of decision that you were going to do things differently?
Oh gosh.
Tell us that. And how did you go about like making sure that, you weren't, what are your check-ins? What are your, affirmations? Who do you turn to? What are your leadership, gurus, that sort of thing? I know I'm giving you so much. I know.
I appreciate it.
I have so many
appreciate
questions.
I wish I had more answers.
No, you do. You do.
I'm learning a lot of the questions you asked. I'm learning all the time. The when did I decide? So my brother and I we were working in the same space during COVID. He was back from New York he had lived in Manhattan at the time, was back after the writer's strike and COVID and everything else. And I'd had a conversation with an attorney that I was working with. And in that conversation, there were some things I just really, really disagreed with. And I was like, I'm not putting myself through this anymore. That I don't think we're going to be able to continue working together. And he kind of just looked over and he said, I've told you 1,000 times, just start your own firm. Like in a very brotherly way.
Right. Yes. The punch you in the shoulder.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah. We were, we were raised by Germans, so we're very direct.
Yes. I like that.
And I said, and I quote, I said, I don't know how to work a computer. Otherwise I probably would. And that's true. I'm the least tech savvy millennial that exists.
That's awesome.
And he was like, well, I do. And we pretty much like within that week, I was like, okay, we're going to start up our stuff. And I told my clients, I didn't have a plan. I didn't have a parachute. I didn't have a printer.
That's awesome.
And I told the clients that I had worked with for years, I just said, I'm going to start my own thing. Thanks for working with me. I'll be here if you need me. You have my cell phone. And truly shockingly, like all of the clients that I had worked with were like, cool. What's your new email address?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh,
okay. Am I doing this?
I wrote myself an email on February 27th of 2023. And I know the date's my sister's birthday, and my brother and I were kind of joking about it at that time, but I wrote myself an email and it was literally just a test email and said, you're doing it.
I love that.
I love that.
Still in my inbox.
Well, and one of the things that I found most interesting, and I don't know if you're still working on this model, but you were starting at one point, you were putting together packages, which I've never seen an attorney do, where you were like, hey, I get it. You're starting a new business. Here's my package to get all this done for you. And I'm not going to be nickel and diming you every 6 minutes.
Yeah. So I do still have those. I put a lot of time and effort into them. And when we get new business clients, then I'm like, okay, like here's kind of what I think you need. One of the big challenges that I have with the business model itself is, since then, I do think other attorneys, and around that time, it wasn't like I think I own this idea. Other attorneys do that. The challenge is sometimes that the law is so particular that when you're not specializing things, it's almost like you see it do more harm than good.
Right.
And so you have to be so conscientious and so responsible and so careful about the way you're advising people. And that, God, I mean, I'll tell you, I have seen because I backed my way into certain like transactional work. So litigated it for long enough that I was like, I know a lot about these contracts and agreements and the way people do these things. One of those examples is when one business wants to buy another business, merge, those things. And people still come to me after that goes really wrong. And so there's a recent example I can think of where somebody basically used a tool like that to acquire another business, and with like fairly devastating consequences that cost them even more than what they bought the business for. Right. And they thought they were making this investment and it absolutely wasn't. And so I see this stuff constantly where I'm like, oh boy, like, it really
can backfire. Yeah.
And I love this piece of the law, is that talking about like a model for the sake of efficiency, or talking about a model that's hyper focused on scaling is almost like, great business mindset.
Right.
Not great lawyering.
Right.
Great lawyering.
Yeah. Well, so go ahead. I'm sorry,
No,
Angela.
I was just going to say, one of the things too that I'm intrigued by as well, and we always get into a little bit on this podcast, is how does Krystal at home relate to Krystal at work?
Yes.
And why don't you tell us a little bit about, obviously family is very important to you with working with two of your siblings, but what about your core family and how does that all kind of work?
Oh gosh, I wish I knew. Okay, so my daughter, I think, as you both know, she turned 4 last month in October, and next week my son will be 18 months. And
they're in it.
Little pips.
They're
It's the best.
They're amazing. And has taught me a lot more than I knew before about patience and advocacy and trying to slow down
Mhm.
and negotiation.
Yes.
My 4-year-old is a master negotiator. Like, oh my God. I mean,
She's coming by it naturally.
Yeah.
She's awesome.
she will memorialize in her mind reasons that I have told her why something is okay or why it's not okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay, yes, we can skip, you can skip taking a bath tonight. You could take a shower, things like that, because this is what we're doing.
Right.
And I always find myself like telling her, like, not because I said so, but
Yes.
this is what's
Essentially.
going on.
Yes. Because
Yeah.
I said so.
Right. Well, but I try
Mhm.
to be like, this is why I'm saying it. This is the reason.
Mhm.
And she will commit them to memory.
Yeah.
And then the very next
Wow.
time she wants that thing, she's like, Mom,
Remember when?
this happened and this happened. And that means, and then I have to be like, yes, but here is the subsection C exception to the
Mhm.
shower doctrine.
That is amazing.
You might have a successor there.
Yeah.
She has told me. So I always tell Charlie, this is my daughter, Charlotte. We call her Charlie. She always in the morning, she wants to know, like, why do you have to leave for work?
Yeah.
Why are you leaving? Why is it early? What's going on?
Yeah.
She loves the questioning stage, and it
Yeah.
is, nothing will make you reflect like that.
Right. Right.
And so I
true.
tell her, I go, Charlie, I'm a lawyer. I go to work to make sure that people are treated fair. That's what I do. And so it's like almost imprinted on her now that she's like, that's what lawyers do. They make sure people are fair. And I never intended that to be like, I didn't know that before she was
I kind of
asking
love
me.
that.
Yeah.
It's
That's
so
really good.
gratifying. So she has recently started telling me, she's like, Mom, when I grow up, I'm going to make sure people are fair. And today, when I won't say his name, was being really mean, I told the teacher that
Amazing.
that was not fair. I'm like,
And here's how
"Yes."
we're going to fix this. And here's my rate.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's it's so funny that you say that. I was talking to my sister yesterday, and I joke about this a lot, but I tell people, I'm like, I'm a damn good lawyer. Like, I am good at the
Right.
lawyering piece. The business owner piece doesn't come as naturally to me. I want to jump into the fire every time people ask me for help with it. I want to hop in and
Mhm.
fix things.
Yeah.
That's natural to me. I'm good at it.
Mhm.
The part about, okay, so this is what accounts receivable are,
Yeah.
and this is what I have to
Yeah.
tell people about how much we have to pay. And I have to tell people that they have to pay me even if I can't get them what they want me
Right.
to get.
Uh-huh.
Right.
I have to do that.
Yeah.
Right.
It's valuing your time.
Oh, it's so hard.
It's hard.
It's
Mhm.
so hard. So when I
Mhm.
shared with my sister, who runs my firm, she runs the logistics piece of our
Right.
firm. When I told her that my daughter, her niece, had said that she wants to be a lawyer and make sure people are fair, I said, and Charlie, make sure you get paid. You make sure.
Right. Exactly. That's awesome. It is.
That's awesome.
And you just touched on something that really is it resonates, number one, and it is a common theme on all of our guests is, we always talk about imposter syndrome, which, is one thing, but we also talk about the valuing your time. And it is, I don't know why, and maybe you have some insight to this, but females in this world, we have the hardest time holding people to that and saying, this is my value.
Yes.
Please respect it.
Yeah. I think about this constantly because it really was probably my hardest lesson. I love the work that I do. I love the people that I work for. I love what I represent. That the part that's so hard for me really is stabilize the revenue. Tell people that they owe you money when they owe you money.
Right.
Yeah.
And when you have to tell them the fifth time, you're like, "Ooh, I said that already. This is hard. I don't like this.
I hate it."
Yeah.
Angela's looking at me. For our listeners that can't see, my business partner is looking at me going, you, because I really have a tough time with it because,
so hard.
and I don't know what part of my personality is encouraging this behavior, but it is something that I am constantly aware of.
Well, it's
a lot.
hard. It's like specifically putting your foot down
Yeah.
and being like, this is what it is,
Yeah.
and it's almost like gotten to the point sometimes where it feels like you're not being fair to
Respected.
yourself.
Yeah.
Well, that too,
Yes.
but like you're not being fair to yourself
Mhm.
if you're not.
I didn't it didn't matter to me as much before I had a team that I was responsible for because
Right.
it's easy for me to watch out for them.
Yes.
Yep.
Most of this my time didn't matter to me nearly as much. Like the way that I am like, I don't even know, being like such a bear about this December because both my kids are at an age where I'm like, I want that time. That's for
Yes.
me. If
Yeah.
I'm not working,
Yes.
like we are looking at lights and I can see the
Yeah.
crazy happening already. Where you guys are going to like these lights. Let's go.
You're going to have fun, gosh darn it. And
Everybody's
you're
having fun.
You're going to drink the hot chocolate and smile in the pictures.
Oh my God. So it's, it's comical, but it's so true. And
Yeah.
I also I look at all the ways, and this is a female thing because that's the way that I have come to
Mhm.
understand the world. And that's my experience, right? I look at all the ways that we are asked to provide free services
Yeah.
and free labor. And it starts, now that my kids are in school, that, hey, can you
Volunteering.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Can you make 35
Yes.
Grinch kebabs for the Christmas party? That's like a very perishable item. It has to be done time sensitive.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Not as easy as it looks on Pinterest. Ask me how I know. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my God, like
What?
what? And it's little stuff like
Yeah.
that. It's
You're so right.
take notes, bring coffee, make the coffee, clean the office.
Yeah.
Yes. Make dinner.
Talk to the oh my
Build
God.
a menu.
You name it. You name it.
Hey guys, we've got about 2 minutes left. I know we love to do a rapid fire, but I do want to let our guests know or let our audience know how to find Krystal before we start
Yeah,
rapid
for
fire.
sure.
So if we get cut off, so how do we find you, Krystal?
Oh my gosh, please find my sister. No, we're our website is just weigllaw.com.
Mhm.
That try to keep it as simple as
And
possible.
it's WEIGL.
You got it. You got it. You can email us info@weigllaw.com. We have an Instagram by the same name.
Nice.
Yeah.
And it'll
so-
be on our Instagram as well. Or you can reach out to Angela and I, and we can hook you up with Krystal. And if you're starting a business, this is your person.
100%.
Oh, thank you.
I mean,
Thank you.
honestly, I know
Especially if
that's
you're a
not the,
female.
it's not the only thing you do,
Not that
but
she doesn't
but
love
you
males
do
too.
it real well.
I married one.
Okay, we've got 1 minute for rapid fire.
Okay.
Can we do it?
Yep.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Go.
Coffee or tea in there?
Coffee
100%.
all day.
Yeah. Best book that you've read lately or listened to or ever? Because we know entrepreneurs get busy.
I really did read this one. This is a real book that I read, and it was in my hands. Do Nothing by Celeste Headley.
Ooh.
Ooh,
Yeah.
okay.
That's
Love
a good
that.
tip.
Anti-productivity book.
Ooh.
I love it.
All about
Yeah,
it. Okay,
that's really
taking that
good.
on vacation.
You should.
All right, we've got 50 seconds. One more question.
Okay. What do you like to do in your free time that's just for you?
Right now, I love playing with my kids. That's the most
Awesome.
joyful thing I've got.
I love
Awesome.
that. That's beautiful.
Thanks for being here with us, Krystal. We love talking to you. I mean,
Yeah.
hours of conversation could be happening right now, but we only have an hour. So we will hear, talk, listen,
All of it.
all of it. Bye, St. Louis.
Bye.
Is your brand stuck on the sidelines? Tired of feeling like your marketing